What's going on, people, and welcome to a brand new episode of Too Many Games and Not Enough Time. Yes, you can see it. The do-rags come back out. My headpiece is looking atrocious, man. I need to come out of this lockdown so I can go and get a trim. Anyway, forget all of that. If you're listening to us on podcast, you can't see my headpiece. You don't even know what I'm talking. So come over to the YouTube and give us a thumbs up. Now, in today's episode of Too Many Games, we are going international and we're also going official, like fully official, because this guy, he's no small fry in the game. He's out here repping for his own. Fam, you see this brother here? He's working on Far Cry 6, but he ain't gonna give us no details. I've been trying for a while. He's one of the most blessed people I've met in the scene, repping T-Town, the one and only Kurston. Welcome to Too Many Games. How you doing, my G?
That's quite an intro. Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate that.
You are so welcome. So firstly, I see you're rocking your new El Gato Wavebird, sounding like Barry White and all of them things there, sounding super clear. Now, I met you because you are one of the hosts and the founders of Ubisoft's Black Pro Mixer. You work for Ubisoft, as I said, official. Yeah, I got the real devs on the podcast, my G. And yeah, you do an amazing thing by giving a black voice for give a voice for black creators in the scene. So can you tell me a little bit about the Pro Mixer and why you guys kind of started it?
Yeah, man. So it actually started back in 2019 when we did the first mixer at E3. In that room, it might have been like 60 people, 50 people. And it was based off an idea. It's like, you know what? There's a lot of black people in the industry, but they don't know that there's other black people in the industry. So let's hold something down during E3 when everyone's in town, talk about it, put a spotlight on it, and then see what happens. 6 mixers later, we're still here. And every mixer has gotten bigger and bigger and more international. So first mixer out in LA, second mixer, my studio in Toronto. When COVID broke down, we had to go online, so we held an online mixer, held a mixer for Africa, held a mixer in the UK that you were on, and we're just wrapping up the North American mixer again for Black History Month. So we've been at this for a while now.
It's amazing. Obviously, we can't talk about the mixer without shouting out Leon, because
that's my big bro.
Yeah, he's the reason why we got to connect. But yo, fam, I want to talk to you about some games because my little brother, as you know, Minnie, he's just graduated in making games, and I've worked in TV for years. So before I was a video game presenter, I used to be like a TV presenter for music. And one thing I find is, like, sometimes I'll be watching a show and I'll like count the scenes, or like I'll watch the camera angles and see how many shots they took to do that scene. How much does you working in gaming and actually creating games affect you when you're playing a video game?
Yo, it's actually mad annoying. Like mad annoying. So it comes down to, because I'm on the art side, so when I look at a game, I'm looking at the textures that are being used. I'm looking at the models that are being used. I'm looking at the way certain things are rendered, looking at the way certain buildings are put together. And I'm like, yo, this is like mad low poly, or there's like LOD popping over there, or that building doesn't make sense, or this collision's kind of off. And it's really hard to turn that off when you're playing a game. But you get some games like, I'll go back to like 2019, I think, 2018, whenever Spider-Man and God of War came out, where the world is so immersive, you forget about these things. But I'm noticing a lot of things that I want to look at. Like, I'm respecting the narrative of it. I'm respecting the world building of it. But then the immersiveness keeps me locked in. So I'm not really being too nitpicky on it. But it is a thing that pops up when I'm playing games, for sure.
Yeah, that must jar you, because it makes me laugh, because like I love Final Fantasy VII Remake. That was my game of year last year. Blew me away. And then when my little brother played it, he was like, it's sick. But he was like, the background textures are trash. And I was like, what are you talking about? I didn't even notice that. And he was like, no, the low poly textures they had in the background was just trash. And I was like, oh, you're hurting my heart, man.
Yeah, there's some parts of the game where, not low poly per se, but they're not high res texture. And it's really weird where you have these fully rendered characters in front of you and like it almost looks like a lazy background, but it's weird in the same vein because the world is a character in Final Fantasy VII, because you really care about what's happening in Midgard. Midgard tells a big part of the story.
Yeah, 100%. Now, Ubisoft have been doing some incredible things. Last year, you lot released a bag of games and you're working on Far Cry 6. Don't worry, I ain't gonna ask you nothing about the game. I know you ain't gonna tell me nothing. I've been trying for time, people.
No, you don't want a one-time exclusive?
Yeah, come on and give me some real quick.
All right, all I can tell you is I'm working on Far Cry 6 still.
This guy, you know, that's the original Gino. You get me? Original Gino, them man there. But Far Cry 3 for me was like super, super special. And I think like I'm more a narrative third person action adventure kind of guy. That's my MO. So FPSs don't grab me, but Far Cry 3 really grabbed me. And then I felt like 4 didn't grab me as much. I couldn't really get into the world. And 5, I did like 5, but it just didn't live up to what 3 is. You being a Ubisoft employee, I'm going to take you to the employee status and them thing there. What is your favorite franchise from the studios?
Honestly and truly, it's a really weird situation where I really enjoyed Watch Dogs 2. Really didn't like Watch Dogs 1. I'm pretty much a part of Watch Dogs 3. That's my first game I ever worked on. So I'm really impartial to the Watch Dogs franchise right now. But over anything, Splinter Cell is my favorite franchise from Ubisoft, hands down. Because that is one of the first games I really dug my teeth into, because I really like stealth games like Metal Gear Solid, Siphon Filter, things like that. And then once the first Splinter Cell came out, I'm like, you know what? This is Metal Gear-esque. Let me get into it. And then ever since then, I was really rocking with it.
Where the hell is Splinter Cell? Like,
that's a good question.
Where's this game? You need to go. You need to make some calls, my G. You need to talk to one of your bosses or something. Like, where is this game? Because we need a new Splinter Cell in our lives. And I love what you said, because for me, I love Metal Gear Solid, but Splinter Cell just felt different. It's still that very kind of stealth assassins thing, but it just has a different game. I think almost with like Metal Gear Solid, I feel like when I've been caught, I kind of failed. Whenever I have to take out my gun and shoot, I've kind of failed. Hitman is exactly the same situation for me. Anytime I have to start shooting people up, like I kind of failed. Like the last Hitman 3, I was doing it all stealth until the last 2 missions, and I was like, you know,
I still haven't played that game yet. I'm itching to play that.
Oh, it's cold. It's proper cold. And I was just out there blazing up everyone. But yeah, back to my point, like Splinter Cell was a game where you could stealth, but if I took out my gun and I was shooting, it still felt right. I didn't feel like I failed. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah. That's the wild thing with Metal Gear, because I'm that madman who would beat the game, no alerts, no cautions, no kill, under 5 hours. Like, I beat Metal Gear 4 maybe 7 or 8 times, except for the final one, which is no alerts, no cautions, no kills, under 5 hours, European Extreme, which is the hardest difficulty. Because that's impossible. Like, that is straight up impossible.
You are about this life. I didn't even go to hard mode. I keep you a buck. Played it on normal, went through the story and kept it moving. Now, as gamers, we've been really lucky as where most gamers are quite introverts, even though like we go to gaming events and like we're black in it, so we got swag, we can blend with other people and stuff like that. But actually being able to spend time on our own and just game is pretty easy for us. And being able to, COVID's affected a lot of people and they haven't been able to do that. What games have you been playing that really have been able to be great for your like mental health since the lockdown initially started?
Bro, so last year my friends got me an early birthday gift. They picked me up a copy of that new Animal Crossing, and that was the first time in my life I've ever played Animal Crossing, and I was really on the fence about it. I'm like, you know what, I didn't care for Harvest Moon. I've never cared for this franchise until last year, and 500 hours later I'm in that. Like, it was a really good community game. Like, going to other people's islands, designing my own island, putting my own spin on it, looking for resources and stuff, and just really having that creative outlet, having that social outlet with a bunch of my friends, like a bag of my friends that had this game. So that was really the game for me last year. And personally, like my game of the year, which I would have never thought. Like I had fun with Doom and all that, but Animal Crossing was my game of the year, hands down.
So it's so funny. So when I first started Too Many Games, Animal Crossing just came out, and probably the first 5 to 6 episodes, every single person who came on was like, "You gotta play Animal Crossing. You gotta play Animal Crossing."
Trust
I'm like,
me.
"Fam, what are you talking about?" Oh my God, I got lost in that world. Like I was texting, man. Like I was like, "Raw, what's your turnip prices?" I was on Twitter, like putting turnip prices. I'm like saying to man them, "Oi, someone's got the right turnip price, you know." Like everyone come to the island. Like I was customizing, I was making my own t-shirts. Like I was making like Nike t-shirts and like all of them thing there. I went in that game. Banged, and it still blows my mind how sick
it still blows, bro. So for me, like I was making like Fear of God shirts, Bape shirts for the Mandem and all that. And then for the turnips and whatnot, we had a Discord going. We had like a work team chat going. Just like, yo, turnip price are like $4.50 today, or turnip price are $5 whatever today. Then every man would run to the island and go get the turnips, flip it. Like to the point where if my friends just started playing the game, like one of my good friends, Naomi, she started playing the game like later on, and she just started like, yo, let me just gift you 5 million bells. I'm not even gonna feel that. Like that's how I was moving.
That's what my brethren did, because I jumped on it kind of late. That he was like, "Oh yeah, let me come to your island," and he just started dropping bags on me. I was like, "Raw, is that how you're moving?" Yeah. And then I've started guiding my trees. It's so funny we're having this conversation because I haven't touched Animal Crossing in time, and then the recent Nintendo Direct just went in and said about all the Mario stuff. So I said, let me just jump. Yeah, so let me just jump back in and have a look. So I literally jumped back on my island last night. Fam, my character's hair was all long and shaggy, and he had to shake it out to get back his swag. I got cockroaches running up and down in my yard. I'm having to run up and kill cockroaches. I'm like, what kind of crosses thing is this? It's super,
trust me. I did the same thing right before Christmas, before that update went live. And same thing, like caught some cockroaches, like bear cobwebs in my house. Like the thing is, like the mans on the island are rude. So, like we haven't seen you in a couple of months. We thought you left us for dead. I'm just like, whoa, hey, yo, relax.
Mans are busy. That deep, my G.
Mans are busy.
So we are now in a new generation, yeah. So it's where we're no longer next gen, because we're in that gen.
We're current now.
PS4 and all of them things are last generation, and the current generation is the PlayStation 5, the Xbox Series S, and I don't know, do we class the Nintendo Switch as the current generation? I do, but I don't know, because it's got to be, because the Nintendo Wii would have come out with the PlayStation generation. The Wii U would have come out with PlayStation. I consider
that like the last gen with like PS4, Xbox One. But there's always that rumor that there's supposed to be some Switch Pro coming out. That always surfaces every year, but I'm for it. Don't get me wrong, but like I need to know about it.
I need it in my life. But what I want to know is, what game are you most excited for the next generation?
Honestly, right now, the game that has my attention is what's it called? Like Kenna's Spirits of whatever, the PS5 game. That game looks real pretty, and I'm down for like stylized game. It looks like a really fun action adventure platformer. I think by Ember Lab Studios, and it just looks like a game for me. Like, yeah, sure, like Returnal looks cool, like Halo looks cool. I'm a Halo diehard, mind you, but that game Kenna looks special.
That game looks so sick. It's really weird because that I grew up a Sega kid, then I became a Nintendo kid, then I became a PlayStation guy, and then I've been working with PlayStation throughout. Mm-hmm. And Sony do something that's really smart. It's the same thing Apple do. Apple take something someone's done before and make it the coolest shit ever. Like a tablet isn't nothing new. People act like Apple invented tablets, but it was tablets before an iPad. And like PlayStation's really good at reinventing. And Kenna feels like a Zelda-esque feel, but more grown up and thing. And those Emberland guys, they are so talented. Have you seen the Majora's Mask film they did?
It was wild. Absolutely wild. And not just something they did for fun.
So sick. And I'll tell you what, right? I love the game. I love the look of the game. I love the art style. I love the feel. I was so excited when I saw it at the PlayStation launch. Fam, do you know how much it touched me when I saw that the developers was two black guys?
Yeah.
Fam.
That's what gets me right now. The fact that two black guys are spearheading this project and they're doing as good, if not better, than a lot of these other studios out here when it comes to a game of this caliber. And the fact that the world right now is waiting for this to drop, that means we're doing the right thing, right?
Yeah, I don't know anyone who's seen that who's like, I can't wait for it. Like, there's no one who's seen it that I know be like, oh, it looks okay. Like, everyone that I know is like, Eric's Games, he's always tweeting about it. He's like, this game looks cold. So, fam, I'm fully there with you on that one. Fully there with you on that one. All right.
I just need a PS5.
All right, soon come. So one thing I want to talk about is, obviously you work for Ubisoft and on the dev art team, but like we said when we spoke about the Black Pro Mixer, you're always creating new content. You're always about elevating our voices and our brand, and I appreciate you and Leon so much for everything you do. You're starting a podcast, my G. Tell me about the pod, man. Tell me about the pod.
So, honestly and truly, it all started with a conversation between me and one of my boys. So the podcast is going to be called Why I Play. And essentially, it gets broken down into why I play video games, because there's always a negative connotation that video games are generically this white dude living in somebody's basement that's wasting time, like wasting their life, where in actuality, gamers are everybody. Gamers could be people like me and you, doctors, musicians, teachers, people who work retail, and everyone has a connection to gaming. So I want to explore that conversation and find out why people play games, why they use it as an outlet, and why gaming is important and integral to their life.
I love that. That sounds super dope. And I can't wait for you to invite me on, yeah?
Oh, very soon. Very. I'm recording episodes right now. Just wait for it.
So why do you game? If we ask it to you.
I game for sound peace of mind, for making my brain work, and overall enjoyment. And I think that for me, those three outlets make me who I am. So there's sometimes where I'll play a game, like a puzzle game, just to get my mind working. Or I'll play something like Control or Spider-Man Miles Morales to really have fun in the game. Or I'll just play something more narrative driven, like let's say Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, just to be really inside the game, like really immersed in that situation. And those experiences are so good.
You got some good taste in games, my G. Some real good taste. All right, last question before I let you leave me is, what is the game that you remember that really brought you into wanting to work in video games? What game that comes to mind that makes you say, this is what I want as my job?
So it's two, actually. First game, Pokemon Red. So I'm a diehard Pokemon fan from the jump, and trying to understand, like, how do they create these sprites in this game and this world and the sounds to it and how everything kind of makes sense together and the narrative of it. That was interesting to me. And then fast forward to the second game, Halo Combat Evolved. I'm like, yo, like, there's aliens, there's shooting. This Master Chief guy looks freaking dope as hell. How do they create this world? How does this make sense? How do I do this? I want to do this. So those are the two games that really got me into it.
That is dope. Pokemon and Halo. You couldn't be further apart, and those two things make up your career in gaming. My G, yeah, I love it. So where can the people find you if they want to see more, hear more, and get involved with the podcast?
Yeah, so the podcast, I'm going to be putting it through my Twitter. So it's @_K Von Doom. I'm on Instagram as well at I think it's @K Von Doom. I'm pretty sure it is. But yeah, mainly Twitter is my go-to.
Yeah, that's sick, man. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I could chat to you all day about gaming, and I'm looking forward to being able to do some more content with you. And I'm loving how clear you're sounding on your Wavebird. The mic is stupendous.
Bro, that's you. I really, really, really appreciate you for showing me. You and Bronzy showed me this mic, this filter, this webcam. That's all you guys. I really appreciate that.
Come on, fam. We're all a family, man, and we're all growing, man. And I love to see it. Well, as you seen, you get me. I told you he wasn't gonna tell us nothing about Far Cry 6 other than he's working on it. Man already knew he was working on it. Them Jingle man there. But make sure you go and follow him on Twitter. I've been Mr. Midas. He's been Kurston. You've been incredible. Make sure you watch one of the other videos because we got bare too many games and not enough time. We out. Peace.